I just want to make it very clear, I am absolutely the target audience for this camera. And I am very excited to get my hands on it and to own this sometime in the future. I don't have this camera. I've never owned an RX10 Mark IV or 5, but I wanted to let you know that when it comes time for me getting this camera, I know exactly why I want it. And I think if you're watching this video, you're going to be interested to probably know why I want it. And I will give you some scenarios as to when I would have wanted it. So with that being said, let's get right to it. Really quick, I just want to kind of break down the comparisons between the Mark IV and the Mark V. Obviously, people are saying, well, the Mark V wasn't as good. It's not that much of an upgrade, so I don't really want it. And they're kind of bringing it down. But I just feel like the people who are kind of complaining right now about it, they don't really know why they want this camera or why they would want this camera. I got to tell you, I have been with Sony now for a number of years, since I think like 2018. I started off with an APS-C, then I went to the A7S III full frame, and recently jumped into the R series. I have the G Master lenses, and I'm very involved in photography. So first off, let's just do a quick comparison between the Mark IV and the Mark V. It is pretty much the same all the way around. We're talking about the stacked CMOS sensor is the same, 20 megapixels, 20.1 megapixels. We have the Zeiss lens. That's all the same. And you know, people are complaining because they're like, wow, you couldn't upgrade anything else. Now, I believe people were saying that Sony was going to start making this camera to do little tweaks to it. That was kind of their initial goal, kind of going into this new Mark V, was they wanted to just tweak things, you know, make it a little bit better, a little bit more modern. And I think that is what is kind of frustrating people a little bit, is they're like, well, it's not a lot of difference. It's a pretty big difference. We got to talk about how far Sony has gone from the original, the Mark IV, which is what, like an 8-year-old camera now? It is a big difference, and the big difference is the technology. And if you guys are familiar with Sony, if you guys have used your Sony cameras, if you are not aware of Sony, Sony has been so popular for so long because they have been innovative and they have been the leading force when it came down to AI technology and the autofocusing that their cameras are capable of. He's still the best of the best. I know Canon's still pretty good and they've been catching up, but I think even till today, Sony's the leading brand. And even when it comes down to glass, to performances, Sony is a pretty much all around a fantastic camera brand. But getting back into it, I want to kind of talk about the things that they kind of fixed up too. So now we already got to the point where how it's the same. Megapixels, sensor size, the glass is the same, the Zeiss. 24 to 600. Now the big difference too is going to be the battery. They now have the Z series, and I have been using the Z series since my APS-C A6600, which was the first APS-C model that got that FZ100, and that is huge. A lot of people were mentioning that I guess the other one didn't have a lot of battery juice, and I believe them. But I'm aware of the Z series, and I got to tell you, even with these powerful full frames, you never really have to change out the batteries. You just kind of want to have a battery in the background, so when it comes for a full day and you don't have enough time to charge or something, you have that backup. Only it'll probably die when you're like recording 4K long term. So if you were going to be out there recording a whole game, let's just say you're a father, mother, aunt, uncle, grandpa, you are having like a kid on the field that's playing football or baseball or, you know, volleyball, cheerleading, whatever it is. If you're going to be recording for like 2 hours, then yes, you'll still want to have a backup battery. But even then, that's like a good window for you guys. But for the most part, the Z series is just excellent. They also upgraded the memory card slot to the UHS-2. So now you're going to be having faster read-write speeds, which is amazing. I know a lot of people might be kind of talking about I would have loved for them to have added the secondary memory card slot. Yeah, it's all right. This camera is pretty much, it's a takeaway from that, I would say. Let's talk about the next thing. So we got the AF on button is going to be in there. The touch menus is in there. I guess the RX10 didn't have that before. Now let's get to the nitty gritty. We're talking about the new USB capabilities. We're having that USB Type-C, and I believe I saw it was a 10 gigabit per second. Crazy fast speed. From what they were having with the micro USB, that is a big jump, a big jump. So I'm really happy that they got that. Now, and then also the processing now that you're going to be getting, the Bionz XR processor, that is the #1 reason why anyone should be happy about this. You're talking about 7 years of advancement from Sony with their AI focusing technology, and you're getting that now in this one jack of all trades. That's what this is. 24 to 600, this is the part where we get into the why you get this camera. This camera here, to the people who have been complaining about it, who are just saying, why would I want to get this if I could just get an A7S or A7C, whatever it is, CR2, or I could just get this and an extra lens. I'll speak for myself. I have the A7R and I have my G Master lenses, but I do not want to take it absolutely everywhere and anywhere all the time. I would love to have a camera like this. I am the niche consumer that they're probably going for. It is very hard for me to go out and about into nature and to carry the full load of all of the lenses and my camera body and everything. It is hard to do that. I mean, it's doable, but you know how much weight gets added to your backpack when you're just doing a casual day? What if I want to go on a date and we're going to go hiking for a day hike? This is the camera I want. I want to have a jack of all trades, 24 to 600. I can go wide and I can go all the way to a 600. Even with all of my lenses that I have right now, I have the trifecta. Let's be clear. I have the 24, I have the 12 millimeter all the way to 400 millimeter. And that is in a full backpack of like this size. And I still can't get the coverage of this camera. I'd have to get the 2 to 600 or 1 to 400 and then put like a teleconverter on it. This camera is just one camera that can do absolutely everything. And that is why you would want this camera. Now I'm going to go into the next area, let's just talk about it. Let's talk about the everyday person. Mom, dad, grandpa, grandma, aunt, uncle. For you guys, this camera is perfect because more than likely you don't want to spend a whole lot of money into a lot of things. I'll even go further into that. I used to work at Best Buy and I actually worked with digital imaging. That was what they call it. So I was selling cameras and I had seen the RX Mark IV and I actually feel like I didn't even sell it enough because I didn't really know enough. But to the person who's watching this right now, you are very lucky because if you have no camera knowledge, but you have seen this and you want to hear more about it, this camera is perfect for someone who doesn't have a camera, who wants to have amazing pictures and that can do everyday family things. This is the camera. I'm telling you right now, trust me. I've spent a lot of money on all this camera gear. And let's be honest, if you have a family, you have other priorities, but maybe you want to have one dedicated camera that could do everything. That's this camera. That is it. You get this and that DJI Osmo Pocket Cam, the little stabilizer one. You just have those two combos and you can do absolutely everything. It doesn't have to be a DJI. It can be like the Insta360 cameras, or you could do your homework on that part. But I'm just saying, if you were to have something like that, like a pocket camera that can do the handheld recording and a photo camera like this, you can do absolutely anything and everything. This camera, this RX10 Mark V is just absolutely incredible. And to the people who are talking down on it, I really do believe you don't know what you're really looking for. And that's okay. That's why you come to this video and we can talk about it. Now let's summarize a little bit again. This is pretty much, I fit the niche of this camera. Sony is trying to sell it to either me or to an everyday family person who wants to have casual pictures with their family and not have pictures coming out of their phone. Like they want a dedicated camera. And this camera right here, right now, that the range of 24 to 600, it's the best in the market. Sony has the best processing. Let's just be honest. It's amazing. 30 frames per second with autofocus tracking, 575 points. So anyone who doesn't really know what that means, you can do a rapid burst of like a bird flying, of your dog running, and it can take 30 frames per second and capture the entire shot. You just hold down the trigger. You'll have to do that with an electronic trigger. I know there's a mechanical option in there, but to get the electronic one, you just see something cool and you just hold down and it'll take 30 frames per second if you're on electronic. We had a 4K 30 frames per second, 420 8-bit. We got 120 60 frames per second, 422 10-bit S-Log. We didn't have that before. The active Steadyshot, we didn't have that before. Now we do. And this is what I'm talking about. It has been 8 years since the Mark IV came out. There's a refresh. We got it. It's this. It has everything that you want a modern camera to have. The speed, the technology to capture your shot like accurately, this has that. Let me give you more examples as to why I want this. Because I've had moments where I have found myself like, oh man, I am not excited about having on my camera gear. I love backpacking. I have hiked mountains and I have slept up there with all the things that I needed to survive in the backpack. I was not able to take everything with me. And if I was able to, it would be too heavy for me to even achieve the hike. Now, with this camera here, that's why I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to getting this camera because I want to have a camera to where I go hiking, I don't have to bring everything. I actually just did a recent trip like last weekend and I brought all my gear and it was heavy. And I actually left some lenses home because you can't take everything with you all the time. It's just not, it just doesn't make sense. It's too heavy. Why do that to yourself? When you go traveling, that's another thing you want to be thinking about is I want to get a camera that could do everything. I can capture everything and it's just one camera. That's beautiful to me. I recently went on a trip to Egypt and that was super stressful for me to take all my camera gear because Egypt was so strict on anything technology. Like they're almost anti-technology. Even my little DJI Pocket 3 camera, I couldn't even take it in. Like they were that strict. And it was scary because I was like, I really can feel the energy. Like if I act up even a little bit, they could just confiscate my stuff and I'm not seeing it anymore. Like they could do that. And I would rather just take a camera like this that I don't have all my stuff, all my camera gear, all my professional stuff is back at home. And if I were to lose this, I mean, yeah, that'd be terrible, but I could maybe just get the SD card and give them this camera. That's still a bad scenario. So I would rather take one camera with me to certain locations that I can risk maybe damaging. I feel like you get this camera for the fun, to being able to go out and being adventurous yourself in crazy places that you don't just worry about one camera. And then you can keep your other gear for more professional uses. This is the kind of camera I'd want to have warranty on because I would probably abuse it a lot more. If I wanted to go to a baseball game, I could take this inside because they have a rule usually. I mean, I'm from California, so my closest one would be Dodger Stadium. If I were to go to Dodger Stadium, I will more than likely be able to bring this camera in because they do not allow detachable lenses to a certain size and like professional cameras. But this one actually would be able to make it inside. So if you wanted to go to like festivals or to a baseball game, maybe even a football game, you could take this inside and you'll be getting amazing pictures from wherever you're sitting. And you'll be able to be like right there, have a great shot of like Ohtani on the plate when you're over there, like maybe on the bleachers on left field. This camera can do all that. And that's just incredible. Like I said, you cannot take your professional camera gear everywhere, anytime. There's moments where you can't do that. I refuse to just be taking my camera gear, and if they tell me I can't bring it in, I have to leave it in the car for 3 hours, 4 hours in LA because that sounds stressful. That's why I want this. And this one is actually like a perfect blend because I also want to get eventually the new updated version whenever that comes out of the RX Mark 7. I mean, I'm sorry, the RX 100 Mark 8 would be the new one. Which would give you the 24 to 200 millimeter, which is even smaller. It's like literally smaller than your phone. I would love to take that with me every day, everywhere. This with me on like dates or something. And then when I have a professional shoot or I want to actually have a true photographer day, I could take my professional stuff with me when I plan for it. But when I want to have a casual day, this is the RX10. This is what you get. This is why you want it. All right, so I know a lot of people were having kind of problems with this camera. There were a couple things that this camera did not meet to their standard or what they were expecting. And that was kind of causing people to say, no, thank you to this camera. So I thought I would kind of break down what you guys were saying in the comments of like different videos and just kind of addressing it to what I think about it. So let's talk about the price. It is expensive. $2,300 for a bridge camera. That is pretty pricey. And I honestly believe it could be the most expensive bridge camera ever. But we're talking about the technology within it, the 4K capabilities, 120 crop, basically an all-in-one kit with that processing for like the whole subject, AI, autofocusing tracking in one camera body. They priced it, I think, at the max it could be. I know a lot of people were I saw a comment out there was like, this shouldn't even be a $1,500 price tag. I was like, okay, all right, let's take it easy now, because it's Sony. They're always expensive. And $2,300, I would personally want to get it around the $2,000, and if I'm lucky, maybe like $1,800 would be that sweet spot. But $2,300 at launch, I mean, it's rare. There's not really anything like it, as in quality-wise and how with speed and performance. This is probably the only bridge camera out there that's going to be out in the market for a while, unless Canon comes out or something, Fuji, I don't know. But this is probably like the only camera that's going to be like this. So I would say, you know what? Sony has the lead. Who's the competitor? They could price this because it's a want. It's going to be a niche. And, you know, I think for even people like myself, there's a bunch of photographers out there, and you guys know who you are. You guys have probably the gear, some of you. I have my lenses, my camera body, and what else would you want to pitch to me or to someone else who has all that stuff than an all-in-one camera that can kind of do everything? It's not going to be the same quality, but to basically do everything in one at this quality. It's a novelty. So $2,300, I really don't blame them. I think it's really high, and they know where they're at in the market. I think it is what it is. Like I said, I'm personally going to probably want to wait for it to go down in price to some level. Maybe I could find it a good deal. Maybe it can go down to like $2,000 or lower, but it is what it is. Now let's go to the next thing. We're going to be talking about PreCapture. Some of you guys are really upset. I'm personally, I'm a little bit upset with that too. I think if you're going to have an all-in-one system like this, they could have at least done that. At least, especially for the $2,300 price tag, I would have expected that, Sony, and I'm a little bummed out that even if I did get this camera, I'm not going to have that feature if a new one comes out eventually. So I'm a little upset with that with you guys too, 100%. That tilt LCD, the fact that it only does the kind of that vertical and it doesn't do that full 360 thing, I'm right there with you. I think they are probably trying to hold that off for a newer model eventually. They want to kind of not put all their eggs in one basket. I assume that is just the way of business. Don't give all of your good stuff in one product, because then no one's going to want to buy anything else. I'm upset with that. They should have thrown that in there. But for street photography or anything like that, that's cool. At least they gave us that. They could have just been flushed. Let's be honest. The 1-inch sensor, a lot of you guys were talking about, they could have at least upgraded the 1-inch sensor to something else. I am right there kind of with you guys too, but if they would have done that, this would have been like a $3,400 product. I'm assuming. Like, here's another example too. The RX1R, or no, I'm sorry, what is it? The RX1R3, that's a 42 megapixel full frame, and that is crazy expensive for what it is. And I'm personally wouldn't want that myself. And they priced it super high. And the fact that this is $2,300, if you wanted a bump in sensor size, this would have been 33, 34, no doubt. So the fact that they're keeping it 1-inch sensor, I know low lighting is going to be an issue. I know when it comes to later in the night, hopefully, like I said, I never personally owned this kind of series of camera, but hopefully in low light, you could probably do some astrophotography that could probably be still pretty nice, hopefully. But like I said, I kind of know what this is. It's a little bit more of a daytime camera, maybe evening sunrise or a sunset, sunrise. Maybe that could work, but it is what it is. Another one I'm actually, I mean, I'm not totally upset with it, but I can understand how you guys could be upset with it, is the no ND filter built into it. That sucks. But you know, I believe you could just, for what, $100, you can add on your own ND filter. And I know, I get it. I get it. When people say they don't like that feature of it not having an ND filter built in, I'm with you guys. I really am. But it's not the end of the world for me, to be honest with you guys. And I heard some people were talking about this one. I don't know. I don't know if you guys are serious or not. And actually, I'm sorry. I know you guys are serious. But like, I believe the slow motion, you guys weren't happy with the frames per second. I believe it doesn't fully go up to that speed. I'm seeing here that it doesn't do like 960 frames per second or something like that. But 4K 120 with a slight crop, that is pretty high resolution. To me, that's really usable. And if you could go to a 240, that's still pretty good. But I know there's just people that really are into that stuff. And, you know, I would have liked for Sony to have hooked you guys up with that and gotten you that same frame rate if that is the thing. I can't confirm, but I saw that. It's personally not something that will affect me, but I know you guys, it's something really cool. And I'm really sorry. But that's pretty much what I had seen. Was basically those main ones. Price, PreCapture, no ND filter, tilt LCD screen. And that is pretty much it. So let's talk about the camera bodies on these two. And I personally like the way the new one looks. The new one looks more professional, to be honest. I feel like the other one looked, the RX4 or the RX10 Mark IV looked a little bit toyish. The new one looks like a regular Sony Alpha series. So I like it. It's really nice. Oh, another one. One thing that I had seen on the comments is that people were kind of upset about the no internal flash built in that the RX10 Mark IV had. At first, I was upset about that, I'll be honest with you guys. But I think now I kind of got over it. You know, Godox, they have like these little micro flashes that you could just attach. You could put them in like a little pocket. I feel like you could probably just get something external and then just put it on. I don't think it's too much of the end of the world, but I get it. You want to have something inside at all times, not have to think about it. It is what it is. And I feel like that is kind of where the controversy comes in with this camera, is like people are like, Sony, you gave us stuff, but then you took away stuff and now we're all not satisfied. But to the people kind of like that are on my side, I would assume, that are kind of thinking the way I'm thinking, they were like, it is what it is. We got an awesome new camera, a new refresh. Sony knows what they're doing. They know what's in their cameras. They're just taking away, putting in new things, and that's just the way of the game. They do that with everything. They don't want to make the perfect camera because then no one else would ever buy anything else. So I get it. But it took a long time for this new Mark V to come out. It's what, 7 years? So I trust that even with this camera coming out, they probably might not release anything for a while again. And if they do, shame on you, Sony, because that's messed up. But if not, that's a good camera. I mean, for the most part, it's pretty much perfect. Let me also point out that thing that I had mentioned with the that little vlog camera and having this camera as a combo. If you really think about it, to the content creator, this is pretty much an awesome camera. Because one, you have that zoom, which is great for your B-roll. You can start going in at a 600 millimeter 4K 120, more often 4K 60 if you wanted to, but 4K 120 on a 24 to 600 millimeter for your B-roll, and then you can have a small camera like that for your personal vlogging, so it's lightweight. That combo alone is, I think, the direction of the market, to be honest with you guys. Us professionals, right, that have all this gear, it is specific niche as well, but to a content creator, this is a sweet camera. Like, it's really interesting to see this kind of camera out in the market now. And I'm surprised they haven't done a refresh. And so I guess I could say it's about time that they designed something like this. And to the people who are not very familiar or have an idea as to how important a camera like this might be for the market, I think it's going to be one of those ones like a wait and see, because once people start understanding that this is the camera to have for that niche of like one camera does all, this is going to be a pretty much hot sell. And I wouldn't doubt it if it ends up being out of stock for popularity, because there's nothing like that. And when people know that something out there is like this, that is currently the best of the best, people can hate on it all they want, but people are going to buy it as well. And with that being said, I mean, it's just what it is. We got the Sony RX10 Mark V. I'm very thankful that it's out, and hopefully we can get a refresh on that RX100 Mark VIII, because that camera in an update would be awesome. Only downfall I have here is I don't know how reliable it's going to be at night. I don't know if that processor is going to help it maybe reduce noise a little bit better. I'm not too sure, but I'm really happy with it, to be honest. I'm really excited. Like, every single time I see it on like my feed, I'm like, man, this is going to be a sweet camera. Like, to someone who's owning it and is using it, like in that combo, you guys are going to know. I just know. Like, to all the comments out there that are like, hating on this camera, while you're hating on this camera, there's going to be someone fully utilizing it. And if I'm one of the first ones, when that time comes, when I start telling people what my combo is going to be, they're going to be like, dang, that's pretty good. And then I can end up swapping this, leaving this at home, getting all of my professional gear and doing something else. This camera and those professional gear cameras, that combo alone, you are going to be untouchable pretty much. And if you have that RX100 in your pocket as well, to be like that low-key, low-profile, that is a dream. That's a dream. It's just awesome. And I feel like one day I'm just going to have a camera on me 24/7, and I'm excited for it. RX10 Mark V, are you excited for it? Let me know in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.